Hello yogis, welcome back to the Zen Den and welcome to the third flow with our 30 pose journey. So today we're focusing on opening the heart and the hips, releasing stored tension, and just feeling really good, or what I call in the email series, the all the feels experience. A few things before we get started. Number one, if you love this yoga channel and you want more of it, please hit subscribe. Number two, if you're wondering what the 30 pose journey is, it is exactly like it sounds. It's in the description below. You can grab your spot down there. Number three, I am going to be using a few props today. A strap. If you don't have one, grab a towel or scarf, as well as a block towards the end of the practice, and always if you want to modify your postures. With that said, unroll your yoga mat and let's get started. All right, you're on your mat and you're ready to work into your hips and hearts. So we're going to start on our backs in a little bit more of a restorative space. So get yourself there. Once you're on your back, keep your knees bent. Take your feet as wide as the mat and then let your knees just knock in towards one another. Palms rest down by your sides. Really just letting the pelvis completely pan out onto the earth. Low back releasing, lots of space being made. And we're going to center right here. 5 deep breaths coming into the moment, bringing the mind into the body. Allowing ourselves to be right here, right now. Two more rounds of breath. Alrighty, starting to make your way into figure 4. So crossing the right ankle above the left knee, hugging the knee package in towards the chest, sweeping the hands through and catching the back of the left thigh. Once you have that nice bind, start to gently pull the knees in closer to the chest, allowing the shoulders to sink down, creating length in the back of the neck. Take 3 deep breaths into that right hip. Oh yeah. Send your intention there. Allow the body to open up. One more round of breath. And release the pose. Go ahead and switch sides. Left ankle crosses over right. Sweep the hands through. Bind on the right thigh. And then hug the package in towards the chest. Relaxing the shoulders down. 3 yummy deep breaths. Relaxing the jaw, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the mind. And go ahead and let it go. Reaching for that strap, coming into a supine split here. So we're going to take the strap and circle it around the ball of the right foot. The left leg is extended long. The muscles are activated on the left side. And then slowly, with intention, start to hug the right leg closer into the chest. You're going to start feeling it on the right hamstring immediately. Feel free to keep a micro bend in the right knee. We're going to take 5 breaths here, yeah? So a lot of our hips and, a lot of our hip postures really need to have open hamstrings to access them, as well as open quadriceps. So we'll focus on that today. Take 2 more deep breaths here. Last breath. And let it go. Release the strap and just switch sides. The right leg extends out long. The strap loops around the ball of the left foot here. You extend the left leg high. And then when you're ready, start to hug the left leg in towards the chest. Whew, I like feel it immediately. I'm going to blame that on my sitting cubicle job, which many of us experience. We sit a lot in our society, so the hamstrings get so tight so quickly. We got to really spend some extra time showing love to them. 2 more rounds of breath. Alrighty, start to bend the knee, release the strap off to the side of the mat. We'll go ahead and use that later. And then start to hug the knees in towards the chest and rock forward and back, using the core to rock yourself all the way up, and then finding plank pose. So once you get up there, cross the ankles, plant the hands, and just walk it back, plank pose. We'll hold for 5 breaths, start to fire up that core and the entire integration of the body. Breathing deep here. Recruiting all those muscles to work together as one. 2 more rounds of breath. Next exhale, slowly lower the knees down, and we're coming all the way to the belly. Always an opportunity as we lower down to practice the chaturanga arms. So hugging the elbows in towards the body, engaging the core, and slowly lowering ourselves down. As we then pick up into Sphinx pose, forearms come forward, legs are active, pubic bone is stamping down, and then we pull the heart through, literally shoulders roll back, chest goes up for 3 breaths. Last inhale. Exhale to find crocodile, which is so simple and such a nice gentle back bend. Just cross one hand over the other and relax the forehead down. One more round of breath here. And listen carefully. The forehead's going to come all the way down. The hands are going to come back, tops of the hands on the earth. On an inhale, you're just going to lift the chest and keep the hands and the feet on the ground. But first, roll the shoulders onto the back. Start to activate the legs, stamp the pubic bone down, engage the core, and on an inhale, just lift the chest. Just the chest. Firing up those back muscles. Another breath. Exhale, lower down, forehead meets the mat. This time on an inhale, you're going to lift the chest and the feet. Keep the hands down. Inhale, rise up. Chest and feet. Chest and feet are lifting, rolling shoulders back. Ooh, yeah. The middle back is really firing up here. One more breath. Exhale, lower down. This time, everything lifts on an inhale. Rise up, reach through the fingertips, expand through the heart. Think length versus height. One more round of breath. Exhale, lower down, and take it back to child's pose, lifting the hips, sending the knees wide, big toes together, melting the heart down. 3 breaths here. Last round of breath. Next inhale, begin to lift the gaze, find downward facing dog. Just for a moment, it's just a transition. I know we haven't come to it yet, but just 1 round of breath. Inhale to gaze forward, make your way to the top of the mat. And exhale to forward fold with bent knees. There's my recommendation. If you're super flexy, feel free to keep them nice and straight. But if the hamstrings need some love, bend those knees. Next, inhale, ground down through the heels. Slowly roll the body up, imagining your yoga zombie awakening. The body stacking vertebra on vertebra, rolling the shoulders on the back when you get there. Here we go. Let's start to move through some sun salutations. Inhale the arms up high. Exhale, bend the knees, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, look out to the horizon, halfway lift. Exhale, step back to plank pose. We're going to lower all the way to the belly for 5. Take an inhale breath, let the shoulders pass the wrists, firm up the body. Exhale for 5, 4, elbows in, 3, belly strong, 2, let it go, 1. Cross right ankle over left. Interlace the hands behind the back. And on an inhale breath, lift on up. 2 more breaths. Last inhale. Exhale, come down, crocodile. So stack hand on hand and just relax the forehead down. Let the butt, the legs, and the back, just let it all go. This time stack. Cross left ankle over right. Try to interlace the hands the funny way. And on an inhale, lift back up. 2 more rounds of breath. Remember, length over height. Exhale all the way down. Come up to plank pose. Take it back, downward facing dog. This time you got 3 breaths. So feel free to walk it out. Make any organic movements you need. Again, bending the knees to let the hamstrings slowly awaken. Maybe shifting the hips from side to side. You do you, yogis. 1 more round of breath. On an inhale, gaze forward. Exhale your way to the top. I'm really into tiptoeing lately and using my core to get there. Inhale, lift up halfway. And exhale and fold. Inhale, root to rise. Come all the way up. 𝗪𝗲𝗏 𝗙𝗀𝗏, hands touch overhead. And exhale them down through heart center. Again, inhale the arms high. Exhale, forward fold. Take your time. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, step back, plank pose. We're lowering for 5, always knowing that the knees can come down as we do these slow lowers. Inhale to let the shoulders pass the wrists. Exhale for 5, elbows go straight back. 4, 3, 2, let it go, 1. This time coming back up into Sphinx pose and working into half bow pose. I'm going to call that in Sanskrit 𝗪𝗲𝗏𝗏, I think. We'll have to look that one up later. All right, starting on the right side. So the left hand's going to come in on a diagonal. Bend the back right knee. Really lift up out of the left shoulder using the left forearm, reaching back with the right hand for the top of the right foot or ankle. And on an inhale, kicking foot into hand. Just finding a really nice opening here. Pulling the heart through. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Let it go. And we're going to go straight to the other side. So right hand comes in on the diagonal. Bend the left back knee. Reach back for the top of the foot or ankle. Push up out of the right forearm. And on an inhale, kick foot into hand. Lift chest. One more inhale. Exhale, let it go. Soften down. Hands by the low ribs. Push up, plank pose. Downward facing dog. This is a strong flow, everyone. Modify where you need to. Know when you need a break. 1 more round of breath in downward facing dog. Inhale to gaze forward. Maybe you're ready to step your way to the top of the mat or hop. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, root to rise, drive down into the heels to lift all the way up. Use those legs and your core. 𝗪𝗏𝗏 𝗙𝗀𝗏, palms overhead. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Again, inhale the arms high. Exhale, forward fold, all the way down. Melt that heart. Inhale, flat back. This time we're going to step back to chaturanga. So if you want to hop, go for it. You can go plank, then lower. You can go knees all the way to the belly. Hop it back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale it up, Urdhva Mukha. And exhale it back to downward facing dog. Immediately inhale the right leg high. Exhale to step it through. Inhale up to crescent pose. Exhale, goalpost arms. Listen carefully. We're bringing the left knee into the chest, gaze forward. Bring that left knee up into the chest, flex through the left foot, drop the left hip in alignment with the right, and we're here for 3 breaths. This is called dancing Shiva. One more inhale. Exhale, hands down through heart center as you cross the left ankle over the right knee and slowly lower as you bend the knee. Booty goes back, heart goes forward. Choosing to stay here with the arms lifted to create strength with balancing, or start to lower the fingertips to the floor or block to get way deeper into that left hip. 2 more rounds. Another inhale into the left hip. Exhale, open the mouth. Inhale, begin to lift the chest if you were down and slowly send the left leg back all the way into that crescent pose. Take your time, use control, step the foot down. Inhale the arms high, lift the chest. Exhale to plant the hands to the earth and go or flow. That means take a vinyasa or step back to down dog. I'm going to make my way back to downward facing dog. We'll meet here in 3 breaths. Always knowing when you need to soften in your practice. The vinyasa's purpose is to build heat. So if you're sweating your balls off, stop vinyasaing, yeah? Knowing what you need in the moment in every practice you do. Alrighty, everyone in downward facing dog, inhale the left leg high. Exhale to plant it and step it between the hands. Rise up into that crescent pose. Exhale the hands down into the dancing Shiva goal pose arms. And then inhale, right knee into the chest. Flex through the toes, roll the right hip down. 3 breaths. Firming up the core here. Another inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Cross the ankle over the knee. Slowly lower it down. Start to send the booty back, the heart forward. Choosing to stay here with the heart, the hands to heart. Or lowering the fingertips down to the floor or a block, getting deeper into the right hip. Staying for 2 more breaths. 1 more inhale. If the fingertips are down, start to slowly lift the chest and then glide the right foot back, setting the toes down, lifting the fingertips high, crescent pose. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back. You choose vinyasa or downward facing dog. 3 breaths, whatever you're doing. Alrighty, and then softening into child's pose. Knees wide, toes together, surrendering the heart down, forehead rests. Two more rounds of breath. One more breath here. Alrighty, inhaling up to a plank pose. You've got a little bit more work to do, yeah? Alrighty, plank pose. We're gonna come into a side plank on our right side. So the right hand shifts to the center of the mat. We roll onto the outer edge of the right foot. Feel free to bring the right knee down to modify. And then we inhale the left arm high to the sky. We're just here for 2 breaths as a transition. So 1 big inhale. 1 big exhale. 1 more. 1 big inhale. 1 big exhale. Listen carefully. If you're in the full expression, start to lift the left leg and step it behind you about halfway, coming into a wild thing. Opening the hips, opening the heart, reaching through the left fingertips. If you've got the knee down, you can be here as well. 1 more inhale. Exhale to gaze down. We're coming into a funky transition. We're going to step the left foot up all the way to runner's lunge. So really use your core here. Pivot on the back foot. Start to slowly gaze forward. And then step the left foot all the way up, runner's lunge. That takes some time, y'all. That's taken me a few years to figure that one out. So be patient with yourself. Runner's lunge right here. Drop the back knee down. And then start to straighten the front leg, coming into half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana. We're preparing for full splits here. We're going to take 5 mega deep breaths. Breathing into the left hamstring. Flexing the toes back towards the face. Squaring the hips as best as possible. Energy through the crown of the head. 2 more deep breaths. One more inhale. Okay, choosing to stay here or coming into splits with me. So I talk about in the 30 pose journey how we place the block under our thut, which is where our thigh and our butt meet, and that's what I do for my practice. You can stack 2 blocks up. You can use 1 block on different heights. For my left side, I keep the block at the lowest height. I start to slide. This is where you need to figure out what the block height best is for you. I start to slide my left foot forward and my right foot back, and the block comes to rest right in my thut area. I then use the second block to really lift up out of my pelvis area and find length through the crown of the head. You're gently activating the front left leg, hugging muscle to bone, and also making sure the back right leg is in alignment. We're gonna stay for 5 breaths. The mind's gonna freak out. Breathe with me here. Stay present. Feel into the emotions being released. One more round of breath. Alrighty, slowly begin to hug the back knee in as you bring the left leg forward. And then just make any movements you need to right here to just kind of stretch out that really deep hamstring, deep hip flexor, all that you just experienced. Anything goes here, yeah? One more round of breath wherever you are. And then take it back, plank pose. Other side. So plank pose, this time we're coming onto the left hand for side plank pose, 𝗪ში 𝗙𝗀𝗏. So bring it to the center of the mat. Start to roll onto the outer edge of the left foot or bring the left knee down. Inhale the hips high and the right hand high for 2 breaths. Another inhale. Begin to lift the top foot, step it back about halfway, and then open through the heart, reach the right fingertips back. Another big inhale. This is where that crazy transition happens. Gaze down. Slowly, really use your core here. Really use your 𝗔𝗹𝗹𝗶𝗲, your point of focus. Start to slowly hug the knee in and step it back up to the top of the mat. Runner's lunge. We soften down into low lunge and then find half splits, Ardha Hanumanasana. You're on the heel of the right foot, flexing the toes towards the face, squaring the hips as best you can. 5 deep breaths. Two more rounds of breath here. Preparing the hamstring for that super deep split pose, yeah? Last round of breath. Alrighty, so setting up your block. For my right side, I need the block on the second height because my right side's just not as flexible. Slowly shifting forward through my right foot, as well as sending my left leg back a pinch, getting the block right underneath the thut area. And then using this other block just as a point of reference to continue lifting through the chest, squaring the hips. Close the eyes, guys. We got 5 breaths. Tune into what's happening here. Tune into the shift that's being created, the space that's being made. Two more rounds of breath. One more big breath here. Alrighty, start to slowly hug the right foot in towards the center line, remove the blocks, and just make any natural movements you need here. I'm coming into a lizardy type pose and just kind of swaying my hips. Yeah, okay. Alrighty, coming into or onto your knees for camel pose, Ustrasana. We're gonna go for 2 rounds here. Really super deep back bend. Knowing your limits is so crucial. On the 30 pose journey, we talk a lot about making sure we don't compromise the low back area, the lumbar region of our back, and really finding this posture through the thoracic spine and then all the way up into the chest and into the cervical spine, right? So the middle to upper back is what's working here. The low back is really staying in a consistent space, so it's not moving around. With that said, you're on the knees. Bring the hands to the sides of your hips, or you can place them all the way on the back like they're in your back jean pockets. You really want to be able to feel those two bony bally parts. That's your SI joints. Make sure that those are slowly releasing down, as well as your pelvis and your sacrum, your tailbone area. Here we go. That was a lot of jargon right there. On an inhale, with that really nice, I don't know what to call it, with your low back in alignment here, start to lift the chest high. Exhale as you send the hips forward. Lift the chest high, inhale. Exhale, forward. Last time, exhale or inhale, chest high. Exhale, hips forward. And then inhale all the way up. Sit back on the heels. Take a moment. Close the eyes. Palms rest on the thighs. Meet me back on your knees. Lift on up. So this time, if you would like to move into the full version of Ustrasana camel pose, reaching the hands for the heels, go for it, yeah? Like, know your body, know how you're feeling today. So bringing the hands where they need to start off as a prep. Tucking, not tucking, but coming into that alignment with the low back and pelvis area, hip points coming up. Huge inhale, breath. Heart goes high, sternum reaches, collarbone broadens. Exhale to where you need to be. If you're reaching back for the heels, take the time to go there. Really opening through the heart, deciding if you want to let the head drop back or not. 2 more breaths. 1 more inhale. Exhale, stay. Inhale, rise all the way back up. Exhale, soften the hips back down onto the heels. Take a moment. 3 breaths here. Letting the intensity of camel pose just wash over you, yeah? So taking a moment here to integrate what just happened. Alrighty, meet me in downward facing dog. We got a little bit of core work and then we're working into pigeon pose. So downward facing dog, hips go back and high. On an inhale, the left leg goes high. On an exhale, knee to nose, hug it in. Back and high, inhale. Exhale, hug it in. Back and high, inhale. Exhale, knee to left tricep. Back and high. Bring it over, right tricep, hug and touch. Ooh, inhale, back and high. Exhale, knee to nose. Back and high. Last time, exhale, knee to nose, and hold for 5, 4, hug it in 3, 2, 1. Find pigeon pose. The knee softens down, the right leg slides back. We take a huge inhale, tent up onto the fingertips, find length. And exhale to lower all the way down. You're more than welcome to rest your head on a block here, to bring a blanket underneath the left hip to help prop it up. Find what works for you. We're here for 10 whole breaths. Remembering that in these hip opening postures, it's really easy to let the mind sway away. So this is where you come into reflection and inward listening of what's going on to your body. So I challenge you to stay super present here. The breath is still active. You're halfway there. 2 more rounds of breath. Stick with it. Stay present. 1 more round. Alrighty, start to walk the hands in, and we have lots of options going on here, okay? So if you want to work into flipping the grip with me and you're not there yet, get your strap nearby. If you just want to work into having a quad stretch here, start to bend the back leg and reach back and keep the fingertips down so that you can stay lifted in the chest, but then hug the back leg in. The other nice way to do this is by hugging the back leg in with the crux of your elbow and staying here, right? So you'll notice that my entire left hip is on the ground. This is really necessary for you to come into this pose. So if you're finding that your hip is like super lifted like so, it's really going to be hard for you to flip the grip. I just recommend working into the hips still. Alrighty, so if you've got the back leg and you want to flip the grip with me, here we go. So you bring the right hand to hold the inside of the right foot, okay? You start to wing the right elbow out to the right side. As you hug the leg in closer, 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 the right elbow starts to go high, high, high. You take a moment here, you ground down through the hips, reach back with the left hand to grab the right toes, release the right hand, and then bring it back to the right foot. Oh yeah, there's a lot going on. Puff the chest up here. Choose to release the left hand down if you want. 2 more breaths wherever you are. And then slowly release the leg. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Oh, yeah. And then plant the hands, curl the back toe under, come back to downward facing dog. And I highly recommend bending the knees really deeply here in down dog. Let the entire back release. Alrighty, right side needs some love too. So take the right leg back and high. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale it back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale it back. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale it back. Exhale, right tricep. Inhale back. Exhale, left tricep. Inhale it back. Exhale, knee to nose in. Hold for 5, 4. I know it's hard. 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Slowly slide the left leg back. Tent up onto those fingertips. Draw the chest up and forward. Big inhale. Exhale, slowly walk it down. 10 breaths. Keep it present. Keep it focused. Stay aware here. Keep cycling the breath, the prana, the life force through the body to help you stay present. Halfway there, beautiful yogis. You're doing so good. Three more rounds of breath. Last round of breath. On an inhale, start to walk it in and choosing where you're going. So this side is a lot harder for me. I cannot flip the grip without really compromising a lot of other stuff. So I can, though, reach back and hug the leg in. Not with the crux of my elbow, but just with my hand. So this is where I'm going to stay. And also it helps me a lot on this side to use a block to stay really lifted and squared off. Putting my right hand onto a block. If you're working on flipping the grip, go there. Take your time. We're here for 5 breaths. Really practicing here. Integrity, not letting the ego take charge. Yeah? Wherever you are, slowly begin to release the back leg. Take your time. Plant the hands. Curl the toe under. Lift up. Find downward facing dog. Super bent knees. Release that lower back. Oh, yeah. 2 breaths. Next, inhale, gaze forward. Make your way to a seat for our last set of back bends. If you want to try hopping through, I love hopping through. I haven't really mastered it yet, or just step and walk. Just make your way there. Whew. Onto your back. Let's do one bridge pose, and we're going to work into a wheel pose, alrighty? So from bridge pose, or from your back, knees bent, heels tuck into the bum, palms down by your sides. On an inhale, breath, begin to lift the hips high, curl the shoulders under if you want, finding more space. 3 deep breaths. Using the power of your legs here to support you. One more breath. Exhale to unbind the hands. Slowly roll the body down. Oh, hi, Buddha. And then just let the legs sway from side to side for a moment. You have 2 more opportunities for a back bend. I'm going to go ahead and do wheel pose once, and then I'm going to take a restorative bridge type pose. But this is your practice. So if you're really feeling the heart opening, feel free to do multiple wheels, okay? Or multiple bridges. So setting up for wheel pose is similar to bridge pose. Feet are in towards the body, they're hip width distance. The hands plant behind you, right by your ears. We'll lift up to the crown of the head first. So on an inhale, push into the feet and the hands. Come up to the crown of the head. Do my favorite little trick. Wing the elbows out. Hug the shoulder blades onto the back. Oh yeah. And on an inhale, lift up nice and high. Really open through the armpits. You can come up onto the tippy toes. 3 deep breaths. Let it feel good, guys. Exhale, slowly lower down. Tuck the chin in towards the chest. Take your time getting down. Control the movement. And then just let the knees knock from side to side. Alrighty, so again, bridge pose, wheel pose, or I'm going to take a modified legs up the wall. And how you do this is by placing the block directly underneath your pelvis. So that flat bony part of the body, get it nice and under there. You can also have the block on the lower or the second height here. Once you feel like you're nice and level, start to just extend the legs up. Keep a bend in the knees. You don't want to feel an arch in the back, so you want it to be directly where that flat part of your back is. And just hang out. 5 deep breaths. Wherever you are, wheel pose, bridge pose, or restorative. Last round of breath. Slowly make your way down wherever you are. Oh, that block felt so good. Highly recommend that, as well as regular legs up the wall. And we're just going to hang out in Savasana now. So any last postures you want to do, I invite you to do them. I'm going to make my way into this resting pose, taking the feet nice and wide. Palms down by my side. Big inhale through the nose. Open the mouth and let it go. Again, huge inhale. Hold the breath, suck in a little bit more. A little bit more. Open the mouth. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Just relax and rest. Shavasana. Slowly begin to breathe deeper, feeling the rib cage expand, the heart, the lungs, the belly, the collarbone, the shoulders, all of it moving with your breath. Invite those small movements, fingertips and toes. Ankles and wrists. On an inhale, reach the arms overhead as you lengthen through the toes. Feel so alive and renewed and rejuvenated. And exhale onto your favorite side for fetal pose. Savoring this last moment of surrender. Next inhale, lift up to seated pose. Sit up nice and tall, close the eyes, ground down through the sitting bones. Hands to the tops of the thighs. And actually, you're going to need to open your eyes for a moment. Let's take the lotus mudra to end. So bringing the pinkies and the thumbs together, thumbs in towards the heart, making this lotus-like shape. Knowing that the lotus flower is actually super rooted in mud, so the roots grow in the mud, or the roots are in the mud, and the flower blooms out and never actually touches the mud. So knowing that what's happening from the root base of us can be a little bit murky, all over the place, but as we continue to ground and root down, we're going to blossom up into a beautiful flower. That's what we're doing here on the mat every time you step on here. So bringing this lotus mudra into the heart, closing your eyes, taking 3 deep breaths here, recognizing your own flower within yourself. And release the hands down to the thighs. One more big inhale. Exhale, let it go. Flutter the eyes open. Thank you so much for joining me, as always, in the Zen Den. I'll definitely be meeting you back here for week 4 of the 30 Pose Journey Flow. In the meantime, get yourself signed up if you're not, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. Hey Journey Goers, Allie here with a huge favor to ask you. If you love practicing yoga alongside me and want more of it, then please subscribe to the channel. By supporting me, you inspire my journey, which then I hope inspires yours. As always, thank you for stepping on the mat with me, for being a part of this community, and for making the commitment to live your journey.